All right, guys. I thank everybody for joining in. I thank you guys for following the channel for a long time now. But first and foremost, I just like to say this right here. Although we losing players left and right, there is a time that you're just gonna have to fall in line of what reality really is. But at the same time, even with a purge, shout out to Josh, man. Are you able to hear me? Frankie, are you able to hear me before I start going? Are you guys able to hear me? One, two, three. Make sure I'm not sounding crazy or anything. But at the same time, and we're live. All right. What's up, Law? Super Tiger. Shout out to you. Nothing fancy today. Shout out to Roy. Shout out to everybody who followed the channel, watching this live stream. Just loud and clear. Thank you. All right. So before I get into like great details of what this team is going to be, look, it's purging of the roster, right? Is everybody getting down to the bottom line, and that's been a new offense and a new defense. Because we got plugs everywhere on this offensive line. We got to figure out who's going to fit Ron Leary's spot, but who's going to play right tackle. We got to figure those things out. Are you more concerned about the offensive line, or are you more concerned about this defensive line? Because there's a lot of holes in this offensive line now. And when you fight in a battle, just look at it as a battle aspect. When there's chink in the armor, right? And a small little hole where you can find the little crease to figure out how can you penetrate that particular opposition. Now we got holes, guys. We got to figure out how to plug these holes. Will Jonathan Cooper be an answer? Will Chaz step it up? Or will Collins be able to stay healthy and play all 16 weeks? You know, things like that comes into my mind. I know it comes into you guys' mind too, but those are things that you always got to figure out. Just like with the offense, we still got question marks all throughout the board. Look at Zeke the Freak, and everybody say, "Hey man, stop calling him Zeke the Freak." I'm gonna call him Zeke the Freak. Right now, that kid need to get his ass right. He got to get his mind right. He got to get everything going in the right direction in order to stay on this team. Now, everybody know that, okay, yeah, even if that girl was a freak or whatever it may be, perception is reality. I don't care if she said, "Let's do this." But at the same time, you gotta put things in the right. I'm trying to be nice. You gotta put things in the right perspective. He's young. He's young, dumb, full of calm. You know how that saying go, right? So at the same time, you gotta rattle that in. Whether or not you gotta find a mentor, you gotta figure out somebody who's good that can hang out with you, stuff like that. Those are things that you gotta put in right perspective. Let me jump on the defensive side, right? So many people saying, okay, last year our defense garbage. We got this garbage of a player, but now we don't have number 24, right? We don't have Barry Church. We don't have J.J. Wilcox. And the thing that you guys always hear me talking about is continuity. You got to have continuity. You got to keep that continuity in order to keep everything gelled together. Now, I'm not worried at all because I kind of like the new purging of effect, because now whoever you bring in now must be better than the person that left. Technically, better than the person that left. You want that person to step it up, things like that. Those are things that comes into my mind as it relates to the Cowboys. All average players, like my boy Blake said in the check box. At the same time, you got to figure out if these average players, are they going to be able to step it up just that little bit? Can we get to the quarterback? Can we make pressure to the quarterback at least? Can that quarterback, saying like, oh man, these guys coming off the edges or these guys collapse in the pocket, can we haste the quarterback just a little bit to get the offensive ball or offensive player back with the ball? Those are things that come into my mind. And yeah, this channel is designated and designed to talk about the Cowboys. But also, you got to look at your opponents. What are they doing to combat against what you are doing? It's just, I look at it, this is not checkers, this chess. You got to think one move at advance. You always got to think ahead. Those are things that you got to do in order to put your team in a better light. Think about it. Just think about it. The Eagles, they went back and they said, okay, we need us a backup quarterback to protect our asset. While we still fumbling around with this Romo talk and this Romo shit, man, these other teams are figuring out what we needs to do to figure out, okay, I got a young quarterback. Let me throw Nick Foles in the league. Let me put Nick Foles in the pocket. The other team went and got the Giants. They went and got DJ Fluker. Let me get my offensive line set up. You know what I mean? Let me get a Brandon Marshall who can complement a Odell Beckham. Let me do this. Let me figure out ways that I can combat against the Cowboys, because I do know the Cowboys are gonna play the getaway game. What I can do to make our team a little bit better. Let me give Carson Wentz some weapons. You know what I mean? Even with the Redskins, what I can do to improve my offense, wide receivers. I do know we lost Deshaun Jackson, but let me get a taller receiver, because I do know that our opponents struggle with taller receivers. Let me get somebody who's not afraid to come across the middle. Let me see, these teams are all trying to figure out things during the offseason. You win during the offseason. And right now, let me tell y'all, we're sitting around here looking at everything. We're looking at everything on how the teams in our division are doing this stuff, and the other team, but we still sleeping on one team that won the Super Bowl, right? And now they figuring out how to win the offseason. Right now, I tell you right now, the Patriots winning the offseason right now. They got a speedy wide receiver. They still got a Gronkowski who's going to be able to come back. They got somebody else in the mix, the defensive player. They working on both sides of the table. They are not letting up, regardless of the simple fact. They're right now winning the offseason. And watch me. Trust me. Mark my word. They're going to win the draft too. So that's what they're doing with they just constantly improving their team. And while we letting people go and stuff like that, I understand. At the same time, my problem with Jerry Jones, he's scared to just pull the trigger on certain aspects of letting a player go before their time in order to get the maximized profit. If we knew that we was going to get rid of, we just going to let number 24 walk away like that, then we should have got rid of him 2 years ago. Or we should have figured out a way to trade him 2 years ago. Or if we knew without a shadow of a doubt that Barry Church is going to be Barry Church and we like what he does for the team or what have you, we would have traded him 2 years ago. We would have traded him after 2014. We'd have got some type of remuneration for our products. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just saying this. I'm just speaking off the top of my mind. Nothing fancy today, but we got to stay focused. Player acquisition is 365, however, 24/7. We say these things, but are we living these things? We fall in love with these players, and I hear it all the time under the comment feed. Oh man, we letting this Terrell McClain go. We letting this person go. We letting that person go. But at the same time, we was just collectively, majority of the people who was crying about the person being let go was the person that's saying that this person is garbage. That's just the bottom line, man. That's just how I look at it. We need to be able to stop being like sideline GMs. We need to stop saying this player suck or this player blows or this player do this and that. We need to figure out a way to just focus in on our team and improve our team collectively. But with this Zeke the Freak stuff, man, with Ezekiel Elliott doing all this nefarious things of being out there in the clubs drinking, still got investigation going. Somebody need to just reach out to him and say, hey, bruh, come on, man. Chill out, bruh. This is what we need to do. You got the spotlight on you. And believe it or not, the NFL itself is political. Technically, you was the rookie of the year. But due to your off-season shenanigans, on the field shenanigans, whatever it is, we not even feeling comfortable giving you this particular award. Although technically by stats and numbers and all this stuff, you the offensive player MVP or whatever, But we not going to do that just for the simple strength. Because of your off the field issues, because your off the field shenanigans. Trust me, this league is purely political. And that's just what it is, man. I just look at it like this. Us losing these players, it's not a bad situation, but it's a situation. It raised a flag, it raised a question mark. Why are these players want to leave so much? You know what I mean? Why are these players not saying, okay, I want to stay for the hometown discount? Those are things that come to my mind. But I do know that my boy T Will, he's gonna stay, right? He took a hometown discount. That's the positive. That's the silver lining in the whole deal. I like what he's doing with that. That's something that I can say, okay, all right. There's one move on the offense that's willing to stay. Continuity. But although I would still rather have, we still should not close our eyes and shut the door in the draft, because we still need a wide receiver that can catch with their hands. We don't need Dez Bryant, the only person that can just create that type of threat. We need a wide receiver like a D.D. Westbrook or anybody. I can't even mention the names right now, but any Corey Davis or a Sutton kid from SMU. We need somebody that can catch the ball with their hands. John Ross, I know he's going to be gone at that time, but that boy's a boss out there on the field. We all understand that, but we need to not sleep on that. Although we got holes to fill on our defense, because at this point, looking at our secondary, of course, I like the Carroll kid. His tape shows a little bit. So his tape is better than what it seems like on the field. He was playing out of position a lot. I think in Rob Marinelli's system, he'll be able to play well. Even with the Pia kid, Stephen Pia, he's good, guys. He's an upgrade of Terrell McClain, believe it or not. I like him in a Rob Marinelli. Can't talk today. A Rob Marinelli system, but at the same time, we should not fold up like weak tents. We still need to figure out to get more pass rushes. We still need to be able to see who's willing to come to the Cowboys with the extra money that we should get when we release Tony Romo on June the 1st or June the 2nd, what have you. There's going to be a draw. There's going to be a pool when after the draft comes, they're going to release some of the players and all this stuff. They're going to do that, and we understand that. But at the same time, Zay Jones, shout out to Carmen. Yeah, him out there. You know, there's going to be a lot of things that's going to come into mix. There's going to be a lot of players that are going to be released after the draft. We're going to have some cap money from their time frame. But at the same time, it's going to be lit, guys. It's going to be lit. That's all I had to say, man. I just want to get that off my chest before the end of the day, stuff like that. But let me see. I'm going to read a few comments for people in the chat box. I thank you guys for being in the chat box all together. Shout out to Nick C. Shout out to Henry, my boy Henry Jenkins. Shout out to you too as well. Roy, shout out to you. Shout out to, I don't know his name too long, but Zito. Shout out to you and Curtis. Thank y'all for being part of the chat talk today. Shout out to Tony and Burgess. Shout out to you too as well for being in the chat box today. I try to get everybody a shout out. If not, I appreciate you guys for having me in as 11,000 subscribers or close to it. That's a plus. I'm trying to shoot for the stars, at least land amongst the stars, however the saying goes. Shoot for the moon, at least you land amongst the stars, however the saying go. Brando, shout out to you. Port 184, go out to his channel. Shout out to everybody, man, who Cowboy Nation. You guys know how it is. One love. That's been my time. I thank you guys for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. I'm out. Peace. Once I can find this thing to get out of here. But you guys know what I'm saying, man. We got to figure out something. We got to figure out something to get things going in the right direction. I can't find the off button. Buddy. You guys know what I'm talking about, though.